we've got to do several things, and I am, adamantly against illegal immigrants. I made this exception basically on humanitarian grounds because of the individual stories, but certainly we've got to do more at our borders, and people have to stop employing illegal immigrants.
Well, look, I voted numerous times when I was a senator to spend money to build a barrier to try to prevent illegal immigrants from coming in.
Instead of building walls, we need to be tearing down barriers.
I did not email any classified material to anyone. There is no classified material.
110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received.
I provided all my emails that could possibly be work-related.
Several thousand work-related emails that were not among the group of 30,000 emails returned by Secretary Clinton.
I thought using one device would be simpler.
She also used numerous mobile devices to send and to read email.
There were no security breaches.
It is possible that hostile actors gained access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account.
It was my practice to communicate with State Department and other government officials on their .gov accounts.
Hostile actors gained access to the private commercial email accounts of people with whom Secretary Clinton was in regular contact from her personal account.
No doubt that we've done exactly what we should have done.
They were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
People will be able to judge for themselves.
We cannot find a case that would support bringing criminal charges on these facts.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
To be clear, this is not to suggest that in similar circumstances, a person who engaged in this activity would face no consequences.
Americans will find that, interesting, and I look forward to having a discussion about that.
You were against same-sex marriage, now you're for it. You defended President Obama's immigration policies, now you say they're too harsh. You supported his trade deal dozens of times. You even called it the gold standard. Now, suddenly last week, you're against it. Will you say anything to get elected?
Well, actually, I have been very consistent over the course of my entire life. I have always fought for the same values and principles.
Do you think New York State should recognize gay marriage?
No.
No. Okay.
I believe that marriage is not just a bond, but a sacred bond between a man and a woman. I have not supported same-sex marriage. I have supported civil partnerships and contractual relationships. I support marriage for lesbian and gay couples. I support it personally and as a matter of policy and law.
Just in July, New Hampshire, you told the crowd you, quote, take a backseat to no one when it comes to progressive values.
I take a backseat to no one when you look at my record and standing up and fighting for progressive values.
Last month in Ohio, you said you plead guilty to, quote, being kind of moderate and center. Do you change your political identity based on who you're talking to?
No. I think that, like most people that I know, I have a range of views, but they are rooted in my values and my experience.
I get accused of being kind of moderate and center. I plead guilty.
Just for the record, are you a progressive or are you a moderate?
I'm a progressive.
I support the Second Amendment. I don't want your guns. So for the federal government to be having any kind of blanket rules that they're going to try to impose, I think doesn't make sense. And when it comes to guns, we have just too many guns on the streets, in our homes, in our neighborhoods. We've got to go after this. And here again, the Supreme Court is wrong on the Second Amendment. And I am going to make that case every chance I get. So I will need your help on that. Several communities have done gun buyback programs. But I think it would be worth considering doing it on the national level. But certainly the Australian example is worth looking at.
Will you say anything to get elected?
Going through the emails, there were over 60,000 in total sent and received. About half were work-related and went to the State Department. And
About half were personal, that were not in any way related to my work.
When you speak to the public, you say, I turned over everything. That's, for the most part, a direct quote. When you talk to the public, you say, I turned over everything.
90 to 95% of my work-related emails were in the state system. If they wanted to see them, they would certainly have been able to do so. You know what?
That is maybe the 10th time you have cited that figure today.
It is.
And I have not heard anyone other than you ever cite that figure. Who told you that 90 to 95% of your emails were in the State Department system? Who told you that?
We learned that from the State Department in their analysis of the emails that were already on the system.
The Inspector General report found that less than 1% of State Department emails, record emails, were captured. So they give a number of less than 1%, and you give a number of 90%.
This pile represents the emails that you sent or received about Libya in 2011, from February through December of 2011. This pile represents the emails you sent or received from early 2012 until the day of the attack. There are 795 emails in this pile. We've counted them. There are 67 emails in this pile in 2012. And I'm troubled by what I see here. I can only conclude by your own records that there was a lack of interest in Libya in 2012.
The server contains personal communications from my husband and me.
Only time I got on the internet, I did 2 emails, and I ordered Christmas presents from a reservation. Otherwise, I found people said embarrassing things on emails. I didn't want to be one of them.
Hillary Clinton's attempt to tout her foreign policy experience hounded her again on the campaign trail today.
I made a mistake in describing it.
She claimed she misspoke last week and was sleep deprived when she described landing under sniper fire in Tuzla, Bosnia, something that didn't happen. But CBS News has found several times in the past few months when Senator Clinton used the Bosnia trip to try to show her international experience. December in Iowa.
We landed in one of those corkscrew landings and ran out because they said there might be sniper fire. I don't remember anybody offering me tea on the tarmac when that was happening.
Then in February.
The welcoming ceremony had to be moved inside because of sniper fire.
And last week.
I remember landing under sniper fire. We basically were told to run to our cars. Now that is what happened.
Differing accounts of your trip to Bosnia, and I'm wondering if you can clarify. I know you recall, ducking under sniper fire, and Sinbad in his account, who was on the trip, he said that the most dangerous part was remembering where he was going to eat next.
He's a comedian, Jeff. He's a comedian.
So you actually recall, hearing gunfire, and were you
when we were flying into Bosnia, we came in a evasive maneuver. There was no greeting ceremony, and we basically were told to run to our cars. Now that is what happened.
After CBS News video showed what really happened when she landed and greeted officials, Senator Clinton maintained there were risks, but explained to the Philadelphia Daily News why she was seen on the Bosnian tarmac greeting a young child if it was really so dangerous.
It was one of the highlights of President Clinton's first term, passage of the North American Free Trade Agreement, also known as NAFTA. Critics blame NAFTA for the loss of manufacturing jobs in industrial states, including Ohio and Pennsylvania. Hillary Clinton helped get NAFTA approved. She held at least 5 meetings to strategize about how to win congressional approval. She helped the White House block opposition from labor and environmental groups, and she was the featured speaker at a crucial meeting. Participants in that event said, quote, her remarks were totally pro-NAFTA. There was no equivocation for her support for NAFTA at the time.
So there's only one server? Is that what you're telling me? And it's the one server that the FBI has?
The FBI has the server that was used during the tenure of my State Department service.
Okay. In your statement, you said which was protected by the Secret Service. Why did you mention the Secret Service? Here's what I'm thinking. Could a Secret Service agent standing at the back door of your house protect someone in Russia or China from hacking into your system? Why did you mention the Secret Service agent?
Did Hillary Clinton lie under oath? Not to the FBI, not in a case we're working. Did you review the documents where Congressman Jim Jordan asked her specifically, and she said, quote, "There was nothing marked classified on my emails, either sent or received," end quote?
I don't remember reviewing that particular testimony. I'm aware of that being said, though.
Did the FBI investigate her statements under oath on this topic?
Not to my knowledge. I don't think there's been a referral from Congress.
Do you need a referral from Congress to investigate her statements under oath?
Sure do.
You'll have one. You'll have one in the next few hours.
17,500 emails that she lied about turning over. The server wiped. Within weeks of there being a report that she had a private server, it was wiped. She thought that C, which stands for classified, stood for cookie or something, which stands for classified. She thought that drone strikes are not classified. She said that the reason she used this private server is for convenience, and that she only had one device. She used 13 BlackBerries, let me finish, and 5 iPads. This is somebody who is absolutely disqualified from becoming president. They destroyed BlackBerries with hammers in the State Department. That's not what we won the presidency.
Actually,
and by the way,
Evan, hold on. Can you fact check that? Hang on, Perez. Hammers, fact check that for me, please, on the fly.
Yes, they did, Brooke. As you mentioned, there were 13 devices, mobile devices, and 5 iPads that the FBI said that, in some way were used with her private email server, and they did, in some cases, just destroy them with hammers when they were done using them.
The big ones, the obvious ones, like blaming Benghazi on a YouTube video after the fact, when we know that to be false. Or, of course, the email server. Those are obvious. But when I say sociopath, or at the very least, a compulsive liar, what we point to are lies that are made constantly that don't really matter when people aren't paying attention. But she lies anyway. Like claiming Chelsea Clinton was jogging around the World Trade Center on 9/11. That was a lie. Like claiming that she landed under sniper fire in Bosnia, just like Brian Williams' helicopter story. That was a lie. Like her claiming that she was named after Sir Edmund Hillary because he was one of the first people to climb Mount Everest. That's a lie. Edmund Hillary did not climb Mount Everest until Hillary Clinton was 6 years old. So either she has a DeLorean or she's a compulsive liar. 12-year-old girl raped in Arkansas. Hillary Clinton, who was recorded on audio tape, acknowledged that she was aware of her client's guilt and is even quoted as saying, "He took a lie detector test. I had him take a polygraph, which he passed," which forever destroyed my faith in polygraphs. Clinton says in the recording, failing to hold back some chuckles. Hillary Clinton has taken unbelievable sums of cash in foreign donations to the Clinton Foundation. Not only could this potentially be illegal, but if you look at the list of countries with whom she has a cozy relationship, for a woman who claims to be a champion of women's rights, they don't really have a stellar track record with women's rights, gay rights, or rights. Some countries that gave massive multi-million-dollar sums to the Clinton Foundation include Saudi Arabia, UAE, Oman, Qatar, Qatar, however you say it, Kuwait, Algeria, and more. I know that all politicians have some money coming in from unsavory characters, but it pales in comparison to the way Clintons have handled their money and foreign donations.
And she was just holding on to my hand. She didn't, because I had started to turn away from her. And she held on to my hand, and she said, "Do you understand everything that you do?" I mean, cold chills went up my spine. That's the first time I became afraid of that woman.
Do you interpret that to mean she knew about the incident?
I certainly do. I think she's always known. I think she's always covered up for him.
What Mr. Clinton did to me was wrong. And she knew what her husband did to those women. There's no way that she did not know that. They're just not truthful people. And it's been a history of knowing that they're not truthful people.
We're going to put a lot of coal miners and coal companies out of business.
We're going to do a lot more on carbon capture and sequestration, try to see how we can get coal to be a fuel that can be continued to be sold and continue to be mined.
You run for president, you need to be judged by what you have done. You need to be judged by what you have done. You need to be judged by what you have done. You need to be judged by what you have done. And I think the evidence is pretty clear.
And I stand here in your space, and I say this as respectfully as I can. If
You don't tell black people what we need to do.
I understand. I understand what you're saying.
Also, respectfully.
Yeah. Well, respectfully, if that is your position, then I will talk only to white people. We'll be back here in 10 years having the same conversation.
Don't tell me what to say. And I'm not going to ever call on you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Wait, you want me to tell you what my husband thinks? My husband is not the Secretary of State. I am. So you ask my opinion, I will tell you my opinion. I'm not going to be channeling my husband.
I suppose I could have stayed home and baked cookies and had teas, but what I decided to do was to fulfill my profession, which I entered before my husband was in public life.
Will you act on your words and reject fossil fuel money in the future in your campaign?
I do not. I have money from people who work for fossil fuel companies. I am so sick of the Sanders campaign lying about me. I'm sick of it.
And I will fight back against so-called right to work. Right to work is wrong for workers and wrong for America. Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask? Well, the choice for working families has never been clearer. I need your help to get Donald Trump's record out to everybody. Nobody should be fooled.
So shame on you, Barack Obama. It is time you ran a campaign consistent with your messages in public. That's what I expect from you. Meet me in Ohio. Let's have a debate about your tactics and your behavior in this campaign. I am sick and tired of the negative, dark, divisive, dangerous vision and behavior of people who support Donald Trump. It is time for us to say no. We are not going backwards. We're going forward into a brighter future. Oh, I know. The Bernie people came to say that. We're very sorry you're leaving. What difference at this point does it make?
Because we're going to put a lot of coal miners and coal companies out of business. Right, Tim?
Now, you are entitled to your opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. I do hope somebody follows that gentleman out and stages an intervention.
Well, first of all, stage an intervention.
They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel.
Like a drunk neighbor in your front yard, Hillary Clinton wandered onto yet another TV show to crap on the president.
You know, I was right in the middle of our government responding to the horrible effects of the earthquakes in Haiti. So I knew what we're capable of doing. And, you know, I waited because I thought, you know, they don't need me saying, hey, send naval assets, get the hospital ship Comfort down there. But a couple of days later, nothing was happening. So I tweeted, if they aren't the highest priority of your government in responding to such a terrible natural disaster, what are you people spending your time doing? Yeah. Right? Golfing, tweeting, watching cable TV?
She's a real piece of work. Look, I don't blame her. She's still angry, still bitter, still Hillary. Apparently finding her grandchildren boring, she cruises the airwaves slamming the guy who beat her still, as people suffer and the guy who won consoles them. At times she sounds like she's campaigning, but for what? It's like this is high school and she's vying for most likely to clear a room with her blood-curdling laugh. There's tragedies going on from Vegas to Puerto Rico, and Hillary sees fit to remind people what she would have done if she were in charge. She would have done something, but during the election, she did almost nothing but lose. She's like a dumped ex who keeps writing long letters to the guy's parents, reminding them how their son screwed up. Oh, but I saved the best for last. You're going to love this. Check out the female writers at Jimmy Fallon writing Hillary thank you notes. Warning to viewers, have a bucket nearby.
Thank you, Hillary Clinton, for handling this difficult transition with more grace than I ever could have imagined. That being said, call me day or night and I will be there with a gallon of ice cream and 2 spoons to tell you, girl, you are so much better than him.
Thank you, Hillary, for always sticking to the issues, even as people criticize you for superficial things like your hair, your wardrobe, and your appearance. You showed girls everywhere that politics isn't a popularity contest, because if it were, you would have won by about 3 million votes.
I was with her, I'm still with her, and right now I literally am with her. Can I take a selfie? Yes,
Becky, don't do this. She's taking a selfie. All right, take it.
Can I give you a hug?
That is amazing. They're treating her like a lonely friend who lost one of her 6 cats. No, that's not Joan of Arc, not even Joan Crawford. It's Hillary Clinton, the reason why we have Donald Trump. And the more that we see of her, the more reassured Americans are that they made the right choice. So, Hillary, there's the door. To quote Sam Malone of Cheers, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. All right, Dana, there has to be something better for her to do.
But I have to say, you've written several books. You've done book tours. Have you ever seen anything like this?
No.
I mean, even our former colleagues. I've never seen anything like this. This is the longest book tour in the world.
Yes, exactly.
On every night and getting all this attention.
I don't know. Jesse, those letters kind of show you the mindset of those who work in TV, comedy, and entertainment. It's kind of cute. I mean, it was cute and sad and cute and sad.
Gutfeld, I don't even want to say anything about this. I mean, I'm going to get in trouble if I say what I really think about that.
They didn't read your letter on the air.
That was really...
that one got lost
That was
in the mail.
embarrassing. That was humiliating, and they should be mad at Hillary because she blew it and should have beaten Donald Trump. First of all, Hillary's not only crooked, she's a liar. They had the naval assets in place outside the coast of Puerto Rico. They had the hospital ship Comfort off the coast of Puerto Rico. That's not true. I also want to know something. Has the Clinton Foundation donated to Harvey to Puerto Rico? I want to see the receipts. Show me the receipts. Has Hillary been to Vegas? Does the book tour not go to Vegas? She could easily be at Vegas comforting victims, no, but she's the one tweeting. She's hawking her book for cash while Trump's comforting victims and Trump's bailing out people. So I don't want to hear it anymore. She's a punchline.
Well, hey, I want to ask Marie because I think it's kind of her fault. I mean, she should have won. Yeah. I mean, she had the opportunities. If she had gone to Wisconsin, she should have won. So
Well, there's a bunch of things that could have been done different. I think, first of all, there are legitimate criticisms with some of the things President Trump has done. And I think the fact that Hillary is making them should not mean the rest of us should not take them seriously. Mm-hmm. We can't just laugh them off. I understand that was like even I was uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, I could see you. You were getting nauseous.
But one thing you said in your intro, I mean, you said that every time they see Hillary Clinton, American voters are more confident in their decision. I actually, if you look at the president's poll numbers.
They're going up.
Wait a second.
From the basement. I mean, they're so far down.
He still beats her. He still beats her today, if you look at the poll numbers.
And I've also said,
that's not true.
I've also said, well, his poll numbers, you would not want his poll numbers. You agree with that?
Well,
I don't know.
Jesse Congress would love his poll numbers.
But Hillary Clinton is not the future of the Democratic Party.
No.
I've said that many times. And so while I think, yes, it's interesting that she was the first female nominee, in 10 years I want to read her book. I'm ready to move on as a Democrat.
But you say there are some things she could have done. I think visiting Wisconsin is like a really big thing.
It's
the Russians went there.
But also, how
exactly, and that's a problem for our democracy.
So the Russians have better advertising than the Clinton campaign.
And where did they get
I bet they weren't advertising in Omaha, Nebraska, like she was instead of Wisconsin and Michigan.
Data?
But here's the thing.
They just advertised in blue states. That's all they did.
But look, how tone deaf is that? Is this as well for her?